So Roman chariots in London, their average speed was 20 to 25 miles an hour at the time in Rome. The average speed of cars now in London is 8 miles an hour. We're going to put a lot of heat pumps into Parliament. They've suspended the rollout because they're too noisy. Net zero and Miliband is carrying on, isn't it? But there's some interesting stats coming out about net zero, and particularly the wind turbines. Apparently they are killing, the wind turbines are killing 3.64. This is a big number. I know you're good at numbers, but I don't know if you're good at this number, as good at this one. They're killing 13.64 quadrillion insects a year.
I know they're killing thousands of birds every year.
Yes, the birds as well. They're killing thousands, if not millions of birds. But they're killing 13.64 quadrillion insects. Those little insects just flying or getting hit by these massive turbines. What was interesting, when COP, have you heard of, the COP, which is COP1?
Yeah.
We're at COP26 now.
Yeah.
So COP26, so COPs have been going since 1992. In all that time, they have not affected CO2.
I don't think I've heard.
In fact, the CO2 graph, and there's a great graph showing all the COPs at the time, the CO2 levels have been going up on a totally steady incline.
Maybe they're the problem.
Oh, yeah, there's a direct correlation between every time the CO2 goes up. The global coal use is set to reach an all-time high in 2024. Did you know that? And guess how much we've spent in subsidies in these 2 decades?
I've no idea.
$2.1 trillion.
For green energy.
For green energy.
No.
We have subsidized, all the governments around the world have subsidized the 2.1 trillion. And as a result of those subsidies, Nick, you'll be pleased to know, fossil fuel demand has plunged over those 2 decades from 84% of energy to 86%. It's gone up. It's gone up.
We know none of it's working. We've known for a long time none of it works. And even when something looks like it works, you look behind the scenes, it's powered by fossil fuel.
Yeah.
Like electric cars. Oh, they're great, aren't they? But what do you think you do when you charge it? The whole thing is a scam. It has been from the very beginning.
So Roman chariots in London, their average speed was 20 to 25 miles an hour at the time in Rome. The average speed of cars now in London is 8 miles an hour. So we've had
some Romans were doing better than us.
It's gone down. I remember London in the 80s. You could drive quite fast. You could get around London quite easily in a car. It's just horrible now in London. This ULEZ thing, I know this is something close to your heart, isn't it? Because you fought the thing that...
The Clean Air Zone.
The Clean Air Zone, didn't you? An Imperial College study found no significant difference in particular matter or parts per million of the
particles in the air that deem are poisonous.
12 weeks after ULEZ was launched, made no difference whatsoever. Parliament has suspended. We're going to put a lot of heat pumps into Parliament. They've suspended the rollout because they're too noisy. You see, that's what Miliband should be getting involved in. You should be insisting that the heat pumps are put into Parliament, shouldn't they? And this is one of the worst things I read about Miliband and what he's doing. So Drax Power Station, now because of, net zero and trying to save the planet and stuff, they're not burning coal anymore. They're burning wood pellets.
Yeah.
Are you aware of this? It's called biomass. They call it biomass.
Yeah.
But apparently to do it, they've had to level hundreds of acres of forest in North Carolina. They've gone from being a beautiful forest. There's now nothing.
Then they ship it over.
Yeah, so they've chopped down hundreds of acres, ground it up into pellets, then ship it over on massive ships. Meanwhile, we've lost all that trees in there, and there's coal sitting there ready to be burned that we can't burn.
Yeah, crazy. Have you watched the film? I think I've told you this before. It's on YouTube. It's for free. Google it. It's a proper quality film. It's called Planet of the Humans, and it's all about green energy. They talk about biomass, show how it doesn't work. People think, biomass, it's green energy. They call it biomass because they don't want to say trees. And what's coal? Coal is just trees and vegetation. Not registration.
Vegetation.
Vegetation.
That's the word you're
That's been under pressure. It's still the same sort of stuff.
But the positive, one that real positive now, and I don't know what your view is, apparently they found a giant gas field in Lincolnshire. Have you heard about this?
Oh.
Enough gas to power England for the next 2 or 3 decades,
Right.
basically. So there's now a dilemma, isn't there?
Yeah.
Because we've got Miliband saying no fracking or whatever, and they found a gigantic gas field in Lincolnshire.
Is it a fracking gas field or is it a gas field?
I think there'll be fracking having to be involved.
Right.
So
Well, they found fracking all over the north of England.
We got now sufficient in the North Sea and underground to power this country ourselves, to make ourselves energy self-sufficient, which is what you described before. It's just there, Nick, waiting. So
We just need to tap into it. Because otherwise we rely on Russia and the Middle East.
yeah,
So, dictators, corrupt regimes, volatile regimes that can fall or go to war at any moment. We're relying our life supply of energy on those countries.
yeah,
If it was France or Germany, do you know what? They're stable countries, they're friends, they're neighbours. You could trust them to a certain extent. But we're going to trust Russia and the Middle East.
yeah. And based on a lie as well, because we still do this idea that CO2 is destroying the planet is a myth that's perpetuated by the government, by the media as well.